Respiration in plants. Name the organism that can prepare their own food by photosynthesis. All green plants, cyanobacteria, and some other eubacteria. All green plants, cyanobacteria, and some other eubacteria. Name the sites where breakdown of complex molecule takes place to yield energy. Cytoplasm and mitochondria. Cytoplasm and mitochondria. The breakdown of the CC bonds, carbon-carbon bond of complex compound through oxidation within the cells, leading to release of considerable amount of energy, is called respiration. Name the structures or organs. Name the structures or organ in plants that are used for gaseous exchange. Stomata and lenticels. Write the reaction for complex combustion of the glucose molecule C6H12O6 plus 6O2, which gives 6CO2 plus 6H2O and energy. The process we call glycolysis. All living organisms retain the enzymatic machinery to partially oxidize glucose without the help of oxygen. This breakdown of glucose to pyruvic acid is called glycolysis. Name the scientist who gave the scheme of glycolysis. Scientist gave the scheme of glycolysis. Gustav Emden, Otto Meyer Hoff, and J. Parnas. Gustav Emden, Otto Meyer Hoff, and J. Parnas. Name the site of glycolysis in the cell. Site of glycolysis in the cell is cytoplasm. How many ATP are directly synthesized in glycolysis from 1 glucose? 4 ATP. Write the names of 3 major ways in which different cells handle pyruvic acid. Lactic acid formation, alcoholic fermentation, and aerobic respiration. Write the enzymes which catalyze the conversion of the pyruvic acid to carbon dioxide and ethanol. Pyruvic acid, decarboxylase, and alcohol dehydrogenase. How much amount of energy is released in lactic acid and alcoholic fermentation? Less than 7% of total energy of glucose. Write the enzyme, its coenzyme which catalyze the following reaction. Like the pyruvic acid along with NAD plus form acetyl coenzyme A, carbon dioxide and NADH. That reaction, pyruvic acid, NAD plus, gives acetyl coenzyme A, carbon dioxide and NADH. So here pyruvate dehydrogenase, NAD plus, NAD plus, coenzyme A, TPP, which means thymine pyrophosphate, and La, which means lipoic acid. Name the process by which ATP is formed in electron transport system in mitochondria. Name the process by which ATP is formed in electron transport system in mitochondria. Oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation. How many ATP are gained? How many ATP are gained during aerobic respiration using 1 glucose? 36 or 38 ATP. The ratio of the volume of carbon dioxide evolved to the volume of O2 consumed in respiration is called respiratory quotient or respiratory ratio. Respiratory quotient or respiratory ratio. Find the value of respiratory quotient when fats like tripalmitin are used in respiration. 0.7. Find the value of respiratory quotient when respectively carbohydrates, proteins are used in respiration. For carbohydrates 1.0 and for proteins 0.9. Breakdown of glucose to pyruvic acid is called glycolysis. Scheme of glycolysis is given by Gustav M. Beden and Otto Meyerhoff and J. Parnas. Enzyme used in the first step of glycolysis. Hexokinase. Net ATP and NADPH are produced in glycolysis for 4 glucose molecules are 8 ATP and 10 NADP. Write all the reactions of glycolysis and all the enzymes involved with the cofactors and energy equivalents. The reactions, glycolysis. What are the three fates of pyruvic acid? The three fates of pyruvic acid: alcoholic fermentation, lactic acid fermentation, and aerobic respiration. Yeast converts pyruvic acid to carbon dioxide and ethanol. Pyruvic acid reduced to lactic acid by enzyme lactate dehydrogenase. In both lactic acid and alcohol fermentation, less than 7% of total energy is released. Yeast poison themselves to death at 13% of alcohol. 13% of alcohol. Usually, dash are oxidized. Carbohydrates are oxidized to release energy, but proteins, B is protein, but proteins, even organic acids, is another C, organic acid, can be used as a respiratory substances in some plants. During oxidation energy released in a series of slow stepwise reactions controlled by A, enzymes, and is trapped as chemical energy, in the form of ATP. The first cells on this planet lived in atmosphere that lacks oxygen. Fermentation takes place under anaerobic conditions. Under which condition? Anaerobic condition. In case of many prokaryotes, B is prokaryote, and unicellular eukaryotes. Yeast poison themselves to death when the concentration of alcohol reaches above 13%. In mitochondrial matrix, pyruvate undergo oxidative carboxylation. TCA cycle starts with the condensation of acetyl group with oxaloacetic acid and B water to yield citric acid. The metabolic pathway present in the inner mitochondrial membrane through which the electron passes from one carrier to the another is called electron transport system. Electron transport system, we call ETS. In which reaction pyruvate dehydrogenase used and where is it found? Enzyme used for pyruvic acid. Enzyme used for pyruvic acid to acetyl coenzyme A, and it is found in mitochondria. Name the linking reaction between glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Pyruvic acid, coenzyme A, NAD plus, the presence of pyruvate decarboxylase and magnesium ion. The products acetyl coenzyme A, carbon dioxide, NADH plus H plus. TCA cycle starts with the condensation of acetyl coenzyme A, OAA, oxaloacetic acid, and citric acid. Oxaloacetic acid and citric acid. First step in TCA catalyzed. First step in TCA is catalyzed by citrate synthetase. Citrate synthase. Describe the two steps in which decarboxylation occurs. Oxalosuccinic acid to alpha ketoglutarate and alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl coenzyme A. In which reaction of Krebs cycle GTP is synthesized? Succinate to fumarate. Dash is the first member of the Krebs cycle, oxaloacetic acid. Krebs cycle can be summarized as one reaction as pyruvic acid plus 4 NAD plus FAD plus in the presence of water, ADP plus phosphate ion in the mitochondrial matrix. The products 3 carbon dioxide molecule, 4 NADH, 4 H plus ions, and FADH2 along with ATP. What is the role of NADH in cellular respiration? The role of NADH in cellular respiration, it acts as electron carrier. ETHs have dash number of complexes, name them. Electron transport system having complexes, name them. 4 number of complexes. Number 1, NADH ubiquinone oxidoreductase. Number 2, succinate dehydrogenase or succinate co-Q reductase. Then number 3, cytochrome BC1 complex or co-QH2 cytochrome C reductase. Number 4, cytochrome C oxidase. Next question. Electron from complex 1 are passed to ubiquinone. Reduced ubiquinone is called ubiquinol. Complex 4 contain Complex 4 contain cytochrome A, cytochrome A3, and Cu centers. Cytochrome C is attached to the inner surface of outer mitochondrial membrane. True or false? False. Cytochrome C acts as a mobile carrier for transport of electrons between complex 3 and complex 4. Oxidation of one molecule of NADH gives rise to 3 molecules of ATP, while that of one molecule of FADH2 produces 2 molecules of ATP. Oxidation of one molecule of NADH gives rise to 3 molecules of ATP, while that of one molecule of FADH2 produces 2 molecules of ATP. If fatty acids were to be respired, they would first be degraded to dash and enter the pathway. Fatty acids were to be respired. First, they would first be degraded by 2-acetyl coenzyme A and enter the pathway. The glycerol would enter the pathway after being converted to PGAL. Respiratory pathway is involved in both anabolism and catabolism. It would hence be better to consider the respiratory pathway as an amphibolic path. Amphibolic path. Energy released by oxidation in respiration is not used directly but is used to synthesize ATP. Statement, true or false? True. ATP acts the energy currency of the cell because it is broken down whenever and wherever energy needs to be utilized. True or false? True. Carbon skeleton produced during respiration, the ketoglutarate and oxaloacetic acid, like intermediates, are used as a precursor for the biosynthesis of other molecules in the cell. True. Plants do not require O2 for respiration and they never give out carbon dioxide. False. Krebs cycle, which is also called aerobic respiration, require oxygen to supply. True. In mitochondrial matrix, complete oxidation of pyruvate takes place in which all the hydrogen atoms are removed, leaving the 3 molecules of carbon dioxide. True. At inner membrane of the mitochondria, passing on of the electrons removed as a part of the hydrogen atoms to molecular oxygen with simultaneous synthesis of ATP occurs. True. Oxygen acts as a final hydrogen acceptor. Oxygen acts as a final hydrogen acceptor in electron transport chain of mitochondria. True. In respiration, energy of oxidation reduction is utilized for the production of proton gradient required for phosphorylation. True. Cytochrome C, small protein, is attached to the outer surface. Cytochrome C is attached to the outer surface of the inner mitochondrial membrane. True. Cytochrome co-oxidase complex contains cytochrome A, A3 and 2 copper centers. True. When the electron passes from one carrier to another via complex 1 to 4 in the electron transport chain, they are coupled to ATP synthase complex 5 for the production of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate. True. Fermentation accounts for only a partial breakdown of glucose, whereas in aerobic respiration it is completely degraded to carbon dioxide and water. True. NADH is oxidized to NAD rather slowly in fermentation. However, the reaction is very vigorous in case of aerobic respiration. True. 5 molecules of NADH gives 15 ATP molecules. Dash molecules of FADH2 give 8 ATP, 4. For each ATP, dash H plus passes through the ATP synthetase. 2. NADH pumps dash H plus into the intermembrane space. 6 H plus ions to intermembrane space. That acts as a final E electron acceptor, oxygen. In aerobic respiration, one molecule of glucose produces 38 ATPs. NADH oxidation is slow in fermentation. True or false? True. Fats and carbohydrate metabolism are interlinked by dihydroxyacetone phosphate or phosphoglyceraldehyde. Dihydroxyacetone phosphate or phosphoglyceraldehyde, GAL. Which biomolecule is common in breakdown of fats, carbohydrate and protein? Acetyl coenzyme A. Respiratory quotient of carbohydrates is 1. Volume of carbon dioxide evolved, volume of O2 consumed is called respiratory quotient. Respiratory quotient of fats is less than 1. Respiratory quotient of tripalmitin is 0.7. Respiratory quotient of protein is about 0.9. In germinating seeds, fermentation occurs. True. Germinating seeds, fermentation occurs. ATP synthase is also called oxysome. ATP synthase is also called oxysome. Identify the diagram and write what is A and B. The diagram is anaerobic respiration. The process is anaerobic respiration. In that, A is glyceraldehyde. A is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, triphosphate. Glyceraldehyde triphosphate. The B is phosphoenol pyruvic acid. So we'll come with part 2 soon. Thank you.